All right, let's lighten the mood and talk a little sport. What a year 2023 is shaping up to be. Here to take a look of the year ahead, I'm joined by two-time premiership player in the AFL, Corey McKernan. Morning, Corey.
Good morning, Tim. How are we going?
Yeah, real well. Let's start with the cricket because we've got a big day today, of course. Australia taking on South Africa. They need 14 wickets. But this is going to have an impact on whether or not they make the Test Championship final. They win, they're definitely in, and then they've got a huge year ahead. Ashes, India.
Yeah, it's a massive year ahead when you think of what's on the line for Australia that's coming up. And look, I think for every cricket fan out there, those two that you've mentioned off the top, they're the two hardest places to go and win. But look, I think for all of us Aussies, there's no better place to go and win that kicks off in June, and that's to go over and win the Ashes.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and a big day ahead for them today. Now, AFL, the sport that's closest to your heart, no doubt, two-time premiership player for North Melbourne. Are the Kangaroos still in a rebuilding phase?
I hope so, Tim. Look, in the off-season, we probably had the best recruit that North Melbourne's had in many, many years. Alistair Clarkson had come home. He originally started at North Melbourne, but he was a four-time premiership coach at Hawthorn. But look, it's exciting times, but exciting times in the AFL. I think the thing that came back in 2022 was the blockbusters, those big games at the MCG. And especially with Carlton, Collingwood and Richmond being up there amongst it, that's something to be excited going into 2023.
Well, we're looking at some of the overlay of Grand Final day of 2022, and it was a year for Geelong. They're an ageing list. Will they do it again?
Well, Tim, they seem to be able to defy Father Time. They're just a great organisation, Geelong, and they've found a way to regenerate over the last 15 and 20 years. And look, in the off-season, they did it once again. And look, I can't see any reason why they're not going to be there at the pointy end of the season, because they've got this uncanny knack of being in the Final Four, and that's going to give you the best opportunity to make the Grand Final. Yeah, and Penrith Panthers, we see a new team in Redcliffe in the NRL. Penrith Panthers going for a three-peat, hasn't been done for a long time. Isn't it amazing, Tim? It's their arch nemesis in Parramatta. They've got the chance to actually win 3 in a row. Lots of teams have won 2 in a row, but there's not too many that win 3. And it's Ivan Cleary and the boys at Penrith have really got the opportunity in 2023. If they can do that, they put themselves in rarefied air. Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's talk the World Game, because we saw the Men's World Cup. The Women's World Cup, which we're all looking forward to, is on this year in Australia and New Zealand. And the Matildas, led by Sam Kerr, are a real hope. Yeah, they are. And look, I don't think for sports fans out there realise what an asset we've got in Sam Kerr. Like, she's the best player in the game. And look, I'd really like to see the entire country get behind this, because it could be, a precursor to us getting, the real deal, get the big deal that everyone wants, and that's the Soccer World Cup. Like, can you imagine if we put on a good show with this one? It really puts our case forward. That, can you imagine in Australia, New Zealand, or Asia Pacific that we're able to get the real Soccer World Cup? It'd be fantastic. Well, this is a huge event itself. Of course, women's soccer has become a massive sport, and the talent is superb. I know that I'll be looking for tickets. Yes, I think we'll all be at the front. Look, it's one of those ones that once it comes around, when you've got the sports mad nation like Australia, and can you imagine places like the MCG and the Gabba and in Sydney and all these types of venues, they'll be packed to the rafters once the World Cup makes its way to our shores. You and I are both big golf fans. Cameron Smith in the men's, Minjee Lee in the women's, where we've got good stocks. Yeah, we have, and I think for all those sports and golf fans out there, it's a really interesting space as we go into 2023. For everyone that doesn't know, you've got Live Golf, which is the upstart. They've really probably upset the establishment in the PGA Tour. But look, for us Aussie golf fans, we've been pretty much starved of having all the best talent come down to Australia. And it's the one thing that we can be thankful. In April, we in Adelaide are going to host a Live Golf tournament. We're actually going to see some of the best golfers like Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, these sorts of players. And of course, as you said, Tim, the likes of our British Open winner in Cameron Smith. He's remarkable, isn't he? That final round, I thought I'll watch a few holes here. I've hosted many through the night in my time at Channel 9, but I stayed up all night sitting on the couch this time. It was phenomenal. It was, and I think for all us golf fans, we went into that back nine. I mean, I think he was 1 or 2 shots behind Rory McIlroy, but to roll off 5 or 6 birdies in a row in the final round, in any round of golf, we'd like to do that, Tim, let alone at the 150th Open, St Andrews British Open. It doesn't get any better than that. And regardless of what happens, whether the live golfers get banned moving forward, it's the one thing on Cameron Smith's resume that they can never, ever take away from him.
Yeah, I think they'll come together. If any sports dramas in the past are an indication, they do tend to come together, and life rolls on as one. I find it hard to believe that they'll stay apart for too long. What about in the women's? Minjee Lee, what a golfer, what a short game.
It's a great family, isn't it? I mean, it would have been interesting playing games of golf in their family. But look, we are very fortunate, and I say this to many, many people. Australia, for what we produce on a world stage with our golfers, we've had such a great lineage of great golfers over the journey, led by Peter Thompson, Greg Norman, and all these guys and girls that have come along. Kari Webb. For a nation that's only got 30 million people, we well and truly bat above our average, like we do in most sports.
Yeah, Kari Webb, Jan Stevenson. Finally, NFL. I know you're a massive NFL man. It's been a huge week or 2 weeks in the NFL for the wrong reasons, but a lot happening there.
Yeah, there's a lot happening, Tim. Look, for those, again, that didn't see it, on Monday Night Football, we had an unfortunate incident with Damar Hamlin, and many of you might have ended up seeing it, where he actually copped a blow on his chest. And it was unprecedented during the game. We had the medics out on the field for 9 minutes, and we all had our hearts in our mouth. But thankfully, he's actually come good at the back end of this week. And even yesterday, I know he made a FaceTime call to his teammates, which for anyone, for all of us that were watching when it happened, it was bad enough. But to be out on the field, look, you can handle normal sports injuries, but when you're seeing a fellow teammate go down on the ground like he did, and the medics out on the field, it was looking pretty hairy for a bit. But thankfully, he's come through. And as I mentioned, look, they did a FaceTime call yesterday, and he's all okay. But what it has done, Tim, it's thrown the playoffs into disarray, which I know that there's games about to kick off now on ESPN, but it's an interesting final round in the NFL where the teams will end up.
Yeah, there's so much sport going on. There's so much we could mention. The Australian Open tennis, of course, we're just days away. We've got Nick Kyrgios this year. What does he do? We've got the Rugby Union World Cup later in the year in France. So, look, for us sports lovers, us couch potatoes, there's plenty to enjoy. Corey, always good to chat. And how's your charity going? Walk With Me.
We are. We've got a huge year ahead. Lots to look forward to, where we can help out with people's physical and mental fitness with Walk With Me. So very excited about what the year holds in 2023, and let's hope for a clear run with every win. And Happy New Year to everyone.
Just quickly, how can people find out more about your charity?
They just go to walkwithmeonline.com and then find all the details there. And as I said, lots of great things happening in 2023.
Good on you, mate. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, Tim.